Mackenzie Johnston with Cattle News Central, bringing you your March 9th cattle industry headlines. Brought to you by AgRisk Advisors. They provide risk management programs to livestock producers all across the West. Whether you are concerned about price or weather risk, AgRisk Advisors, they are here to help. With current day market fluctuations, you and I both know there is nothing more important than locking in a price floor on your cattle. So if you'd like to learn more about an LRP, reach out to an advisor today. The advisor that we use here on our ranch, Alex, he swung by yesterday and he was able to answer all of our questions about getting some protection on some yearlings going into the summer and some drought insurance. So if you have any questions about any of that or any other kind of insurance they might offer, be sure to reach out to an advisor today. They do a fantastic job. Also sponsored by American Beef Producer Magazine. They offer in-depth articles on a wide variety of topics within the industry. They feature award-winning photography and so much more within their publication. If you'd like to check out their most recent edition, their March edition, all you got to do is click on the American Beef Producer link above in the caption. That will take you over to their Facebook page where you can check that out. American Beef Producer Magazine, guiding beef producers for over 25 years. USA Today has reported that yesterday, March 8th, President Biden announced a ban on the import of all Russian energy products in hopes of dealing a blow to Putin to make him back off his war path in Ukraine. Biden said that the U.S. will no longer be subsidizing Putin's war. This comes after many congressmen and women from both sides of the aisle have been pleading with Biden to stop such imports. It's unfortunate that it has taken Biden so long to implement such stringent sanctions. Furthermore, it's even more unfortunate that this administration has placed the United States in a position where we are dependent on a foreign country like Russia for our energy. While making remarks about the move at the White House on Tuesday, Biden said these sanctions will deal a powerful blow to Putin's war machine, but they will be felt here at home as Americans are about to see gas prices rise to unfathomable heights. The ban extends to any new purchases of Russian crude oil, certain petroleum products, and liquefied natural gas and coal. It will take effect immediately, but it will allow a 45-day period to wind down purchases already under contract. The president made the decision in consultation with European allies, but those allies will not be joining the U.S. in banning Russian energy imports. Russia doesn't export a significant amount of oil to the U.S. We do get some, but it's not like Europe. Europe is highly dependent on Russian oil and gas. Russia supplies about 30% of Europe's oil and 40% of its natural gas. To make a comparison, back in 2021, the U.S. imported about 700,000 barrels per day of crude oil and petroleum from Russia. Europeans imported about 4.5 million barrels of oil per day. Russian imports account for about a third of Europe's oil imports. So they are very dependent on Russia. They are in a terrible position. Not long after Biden made this announcement on Tuesday, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced his country will phase out Russian oil imports by the end of this year. This will allow enough time for companies to adjust and consumers to be protected as alternative supplies are found. According to Lawrence Ward, an expert on national security law and trade at the international law firm Dorsey and Whitney, Biden's move is most likely the last option that America can take to inflict harm on Russia without actually sending some troops over to Ukraine. Any loss of business in Russia's oil and gas industry is significant since more than 40% of the country's revenue comes from the oil and gas industry. In hopes of easing fuel prices here in America, Biden has released oil from the strategic reserve. We've talked about that in recent days, but that has had no impact on the national average for a regular gallon of gas. A regular gallon of gas hit an all-time record yesterday. The average cost was noted at $4.17 a gallon, an increase of more than 50 cents from the week before, according to AAA. The Biden administration is now having conversations with oil-producing Venezuela, Iran, and Saudi Arabia, which all of those countries are known for committing human rights abuses and other serious crimes. Venezuela itself is a Russian ally and an authoritarian socialist state. So we're cutting ties with Russian oil because of what they are doing to Ukraine and their people. And I agree. It is terrible what Putin is doing. He is a terrible, terrible human being. But now we're sitting down at the table and trying to make a deal with these countries that have done and continue to do terrible things to their people. This makes complete sense. Complete sense. During his State of the Union address last week, Biden preached how he wanted to buy American, but that must apply to everything but American oil and gas. This president is straight up delusional. Some analysts believe that we are headed for $4.50 a gallon per gas by Memorial Day weekend. And those prices, if they do get that high, and even what we're seeing today, it's not just going to continue on for a few weeks. We will be seeing these high prices for months to come. There's no doubt that the U.S. needs to lessen our dependency on foreign energy sources, but banning Russian oil imports without dramatically ramping up our own energy production is going to send us into an economic meltdown. Again, I have been preaching about cutting off Russian energy imports now for weeks. I wrote about it in an article that was published yesterday. If you want to read about it, it's on my Facebook feed. But we sure as heck better be ramping up every energy option we have here in the United States. Every one of them, or else, like I said, a complete economic meltdown. Reuters has reported that on Tuesday, Goldman Sachs hiked its price forecast for Brent oil, saying the world could be facing one of the largest energy supply shocks ever due to the crisis in Ukraine. Worst case scenario is that we could see oil top $200 per barrel. And the way things are going right now, I would not be surprised one bit. With the U.S. now cutting ties with Russian oil and other countries not far behind, the communist country is threatening to retaliate by halting flows through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline. That is the pipeline that runs in between Russia and Europe, basically what Europe depends on for energy. The European Commission announced on Tuesday that it plans to cut EU dependency on Russian gas by 2/3 by the end of this year, and end its reliance on Russian supplies of fuel well before 2030. Finally, a happier story to end this update with. According to Meeting Place, the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, go Big Red, they are planning on developing a processing facility that will be known as the Small Meat Processing Plant of the Future. The plant will serve as a regional processing hub for cattle producers and as a prototype for small localized meat plants. The plant will offer a set of workforce development programs, including an internship initiative that will pair meat science students with small processing businesses across Nebraska. Some of the workforce development programs may be in place by this fall. Other aspects of the plant will launch incrementally over the next few years. It's great to see UNL coming out with something like that. That is all I have for you guys this morning. I hope you guys are staying warm. It looks like we're going to get a little bit more snow over the next few days, but not complaining. Every bit of moisture is a blessing at this point. You guys have yourself a wonderful Wednesday. I'll catch you later.